So, so yeah, like repeat that again. What were you saying? Because I'm gonna tell you something after that or whatever. Because like you're saying,
Yeah, man. I don't know, dude.
because there's
I just
there's a big difference between like introducing yourself kind of thing, or like, oh, I'm like spreading your
well,
work, and like
like,
actually following.
like, this is what social media has done to people, man. This is a prime example of like what social media does to people. So social media has made it easy to be able to go to somebody and not even introduce yourself, but just automatically throw your product at them. See, back in the days when you were a salesman, whether it was a car or toothbrush, it didn't fucking actually had to walk up to somebody, shake their hand, introduce yourself, and actually try to sell the product to somebody. Nowadays, you don't even meet the person that they're trying to sell you shit. It's just something. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. And to me, it's just. I guess I'm a little bit old school. Like if I'm gonna buy something, first of all, I would have to approach you. I'd have to be like, hey, I see your shit. I'm interested in it. What do you charge for that? Now, if a motherfucker comes to my page or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, man, I like what you do. I would really." I've had people do this. They're like, "I really would like for you to try one of my baits." And then sometimes they're like, "Hey, I'm just gonna send you one. Tell me what you think." And then I have people that are like, "Hey, I need you to try my bait. I need you to pay for this and pay for the shipping, and I'll send you one." I'm like, look, first of all, you haven't even introduced yourself. You don't just get on somebody's page and tell somebody you're gonna buy my bait, you're gonna fucking pay for it, and then tell me how it is.
Hmm.
Nah, bro, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not necessarily like a super big promoter on things like that, but I fish a lot. So to me, like, hey man, what are you using? How are you using it? Why do you use it? And I just tell people like, hey, go here, grab one of these, hook it up like this, go fish it like this, and then tell me what you think. And if I don't naturally
So
do that for your bait,
don't do the
then
buy
some
safety
like if
bait.
they yeah, like dude. But see, that's the thing. A lot of people go out there and I grind for anybody that's ever given me a bait, bro. So I don't even if you've given me a bait a long time ago, I'm still out there using your shit. Like I said, I just base my angling off of routine seasonal fishing, bro.
Hmm.
So, it's one of those things, man, where it's just like, people will be like, oh, you were catching fish on my stuff, and then now you're not using it no more. It's like, no, it's not even like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like that. It's just certain times of the year I like to fish certain ways. So when it's your turn, I get you in rotation. And if you want to get in on that fishing rotation, then most people are like, hey, Froggy, fish my bait, bro. Give me a review. Tell me what you really think about it. You know what I'm saying? And I do that for people, bro. And that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are times where I'm like, hey, I really like that. How much you want for one of those? You know what I'm saying? And I do that too. But cats that just like hit you up and they're like, hey, buy my shit and it's this much and I don't even care, just fucking whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's not how you do business, bro. It's not how you do business, bro. And I don't just say that because I'm like, hey, hook me up with a free bait. I don't say that shit. I tell people like when it comes to my own business, the way I feed my family, there's times where I give out free work just so people can see what I do and they know who I am, dog. It comes with the territory. It's part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
So here, what do you think? Like, what do you think we need in the fishing industry or in the fishing community?
What do I feel like we need?
Yes.
Hmm. That's a good question. Well, it just depends on what aspect of fishing you're talking about. Like, are you talking about in all general, like what's something that would
Yeah.
revolutionize, or are you talking about like equipment, gear, fishing lures? I mean,
All around.
with fishing, Yeah, with fishing, there's a lot of things. It's hard to come up with something that's revolutionary
Yeah, like
because
again, like a lot of the community stuff, you know, like so like what do you think we need like in the fishing community kind of thing, like as a whole?
I can barely hear you, bro.
This fucking this headphone. You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now, dude.
Okay. It's like the left one like doesn't work as good as the right one. Fucking- So
Yeah,
like
the other one sounded a little muffled.
so like what do you think we need like in the fishing community like as a whole type thing? You
As
know?
a whole,
Yeah, like
I would say, as
whether
a
it's
whole, I would
numbers,
say,
whether it's trophy, whether it's tournament, like you know, bait maker, like what do we need in the community?
I think what we need as a whole, man, it would be something. Let's see, like if I was gonna say something that would change the fishing game, dude, what we could use as fishermen is, well, I mean, like if somebody was asking me like, hey, Froggy, what would you invent to help fishing? I would be like, well, I mean, for the boat angler, they already pretty much have everything you would really need to go fishing. Actually, even more. You know what I'm saying? But I think for like I think where the revolutionary pocket is for the game is for bank anglers. I think I think the game needs something like a fish finder for bank anglers. And I know they have them. I know they have like ones you can cast out and whatever, but there needs to be something that a person could, even like a lure, bro, even like a lure. Like if you had, like, let's say like a radar style lure that you out, and as you reel it back, as you just burn it back, it just gives you a little bit of a detailed structure of what's underneath and around you. You know what I'm saying? So it would pick up vibrations, it would pick up everything, fish, and then it would feed it back to your phone. Okay, so like I think something like that would be killer. They have things like the bobber that sits there and maps out and shit like that. I just think that's kind of cliche because if you're a bass fisherman like me, you're not gonna carry a giant rod with a bobber just to fucking, you know what I'm saying? But I would carry an extra rod with a radar lure that you could real quick and drag it back just to burn and see what you're dealing with as far as underneath the water. It wouldn't even have to tell me if there's fish or not. I just want to know like the structures. You know what I'm saying? Like places that you can't get with the naked eye being a bank angler. Because I mean, in real reality, as a bank angler, when you're standing on the bank, even if the water's clear, you can only see so far in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as compared to a boat when you're standing over the top of it, you can look down 20 fucking feet if it's clear and you can see everything. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking cheating, bro.
So here let's kind of like change topics a little bit. So what do you think about like how are you breaking down new bodies of water?
New bodies of water. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so
So like here, let me give you like a little bit of like something about. So there's people that are doing like one lake all year, and then there's people that are selecting like select spots, kind of like me. Like I'll pick like 3 to 5 spots, and then like I'll hit those kind of thing, you know. And then
well, that just see once again, dude. Once again, I think fishing needs to be approached like a skaters ride their boards, like football players play ball, like, or not even football, but like I keep going back to the samurai thing, dude. Like I keep saying that because samurais were samurais, but each one of them were their own warrior. You know what I'm saying? Each one of them had a special skill that they specifically were known for, but most of them could do almost everything, right? So like what I keep going to that is like when you're breaking down new bodies of water, let's say if you're the type of angler that likes to go to multiple lakes,
Well,
you're on
wait,
a
hold on,
different
hold on.
kind of
So like, let's say you go to a new body of water. Like, are you just gonna like try to get the most shoreline as possible, or you know, try, like what do you focus on? Like new body of water,
well,
never
yeah,
like.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you're the type of person where you're like, "Hey, I went to this lake last week. I fished it this way." See, this is what I don't like doing.
Mhm,
I'm not the type of samurai that likes to go to multiple lakes to try to figure out multiple different bites in different scenarios and all this other shit. I know pros do that, but not every there's not one pro out there that wins every fuck. You know why? Because it's damn near impossible. When you go to a new lake and you only have so little of time to learn it, you
mhm.
there's a lot of ins and outs that you miss because you're only given so much time. Now,
Well, that's what I meant by like doing the full year. Like, oh, I'm gonna study this body of water,
yeah.
or
See, yes. See, me particularly, that's where I'm going with that. Me particularly, I like to approach it like this. I like to approach bass fishing like this. Like you, if you can find one piece of water and master it first. So let's
Mhm,
say you're a beginner and you've never really fished before, but you know there's a pond by your house. You want to start picking it up. You've seen some guys catching some bass out of it. You're like, hey, man, I want to try my luck at bass fishing. You go over there, you skunk out for the first few times because you don't really know a whole lot about the lake, the pond, wherever you're fishing. You don't really know much about fishing. You really don't know much about how the fish are moving in that particular area or what they're feeding on or anything, right? But when you zone in on one spot, what starts to happen is as you get more and more into fishing, you start seeing more and more littler details, and you start learning that these fish are living a life just like you. So it
mhm,
literally becomes like a thing where it's a you versus them. So it's a lifestyle, man. And the way I see it is like when I like to do all year one spot. I mean, I go to different spots and you will see me go to different spots, but I normally gravitate to my own holes. And it's not even because I like to catch fish after fish after fish after fish, but what I do is I study the bites. I study I use those smaller one spot areas because for me it helps me learn the behavior of the fish.
mhm.
Okay. So when you start learning, to me, if you're going to learn fishing, you need to learn the behavior of the fish first. I think that's most important.
Mhm.
I don't think I don't think having the right reels, the right rods, the right lines, the right lures, any of that is more important than actually knowing what the fish are doing. Okay? And
So,
that's important, dude.
so here, let me interrupt you real quick. So, like for me, I let the fish tell me that, and like the fish will let me know, kind of deal.
The fish will let you know what.
Like if they're biting, if they're active, like I'll see them.
See, I think that's what most I see. This is what I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna key you in on a little something that makes me different. I feel as an angler, dude. I meet a lot of guys that are like that. They're like, man, we're looking for the bite. The bite will tell me. And you're right. You're right. There is a lot of truth to that. But also, you got to understand how to be on the bite
Hmm.
so that you can establish that bite. See, I'm not talking about going to the water and every once in a while you score some lucky fish cuz you get on a lucky bite because you were there at the right time at the right moment. I'm talking about being able to pull up and almost guarantee you're going to gang something, bro, because you already know how you're going to fish, where they're at, how they're set up, what you're going to do. And even if you go there with a plan A and it does not work,
Hmm.
then what you do is you start executing backup knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You just start executing like, okay, well, if that's not working. So, like when I went to the pond the other day,
Hmm.
I walked around the pond. I noticed that there was not even little fish sitting on the bank. So, what does that tell me as an angler? I can either waste my time throwing baits down the bank, trying to figure that out, knowing I'm not going to get a bite, or I can use my angler skills and realize, there's not a whole lot of activity up here on the banks. So I'm going to start fishing out towards the middle and a little bit deeper to see if I can establish a bite. Because if I throw in the banks and there ain't no activity, all I'm doing is burning time and burning energy, dog. That's all you're doing.
So,
So you got to be able, that's what they call reading the water, dude. You got to be able to read the water
well,
and be able to, and not a lot of guys can do that, bro. A lot of guys just fish. You
so
don't know how many times I've stood next to guys that are just out there like,
well, I call it tuning in. Like you're tuning in to like to the
hey,
windows,
hey,
to the
bro, tuning in is everybody has it, bro.
yeah.
Not everybody has it, dude. And it's not even to be like, oh, I'm a better fisherman, because I'm not saying I'm a better fisherman, but I tell you what, when I'm on a piece of water, just because I've spent a year solid on the water, on the same water, learning how these fish move and what they do,
Hmm.
I can almost guarantee you I'll find a bite somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'll definitely be coming back that second round for another one, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But normally, I find a pretty good bite, dude. I've gone to places where people are like, dude, the fish don't bite here, and I'm like, all right, and then I end up fucking fish, bro.
So here's another one too. Like, what do you do at those places where like it's mad pressure? You
Well,
you know
here's
they'll
the thing. Here's the thing.
you
Here's the
fish,
thing. Here's the
but
thing.
you can't catch them, and like
Here's
it's
the
just
thing.
rough.
Here's the
It's
thing.
just rough. You know.
It's rough, and I get that, and I get that, and I get that. But here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing, bro. Where I find most of my successful tactics and trips have always been out grinding the fisherman. And what I mean by that is like when you go to places that are pressured like that, if you're able to get up a little bit earlier and get there a little bit earlier in the times when there's normally nobody there, is when you'll find those fish relaxed. See, when you got places that are pressured like ponds, for example, right? And let's say you got a bunch of people on the same pond and they're fishing, fishing, fishing,
Well, no,
fishing, they're
yeah,
catching fish.
well, this sometimes are ponds and stuff like that. But this particular spot that I'm more thinking about is like public lake, small,
Yeah, I know.
small public lake kind of like picture.
Yeah, I know. We got a bunch of them right here around me, bro. I got a
Yeah,
bunch of them, and they're pressured. They're pressured like a motherfucker.
yeah, like Southern California is like the most pressured waters out there. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. I go to places and they're like, oh, it's really hard to catch fish, and I catch fish, and I catch fish,
hmm.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a lucky thing, dude. It's not luck. It's just being able to read the water. There are gonna you also have to be able to understand that there will be trips you will get nothing.
Yeah,
I call that pay. Yeah, I call that paying dues, homie. Some lakes will make you pay dues until you finally figure out some kind of bite. You know what I'm saying?
so yeah,
And
that's
that's
why
just the
like
way it is, man.
let's say like you're hitting this public spot, you hear people are catching fish, but you go early, you're not catching fish though. Like, how long do you give it until?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you know there's bass in this spot?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the
Or
thing.
I'm just
Here's the
saying
thing.
too. How many times do you hit a body of water and like you quit catching fish? Like 10
To be
days,
honest,
like
to be honest with you, bro. To be honest with you, I've never let any body of water make me quit. Never.
no, I'm
I
not
have
saying
this
that.
one. I
I'm not
know. I'm
saying
just.
that.
I know. But what I'm saying is like, and what I mean by that is I don't have like a like a certain amount of times before I stop going or I don't want to fish it no more. Like I have this one pond that's down here by me. It's in top of a street called the hardest ponds that I've ever fished in my life. Still to this day. Still to this day. I've only caught a couple dingers out of it. I mean dingers, bro. But I've seen monsters swimming around. My homie's gone with me and caught a monster, like one of the biggest bass I ever seen in my life, has come out of this pond.
So here, this is my
But
question. How many times have you been there in a row? You don't
but see, that's what I'm
fish.
trying to say. Is like no matter how many times I've gone back and actually skunked, not skunked. Well, yeah, I've skunked more times than I've caught fish. I just I look at it as a challenge. So like the way I look at it is like there's something about that pond that I haven't figured out myself.
Right.
And when you do figure it out, it's fucking gang, dude. That's why a lot of the local guys that have fished those spots for like a couple of years, they'll tell you like, man, I've been fishing here for a few years. And then normally those are the only guys you see catching fish. It's because they've put so much time on that water learning where the holes are at, how these fish are moving, where the shallows are at, when they move up, the hot spots that you just, it's hard not to get in a spot one day and catch good fish. That's what I'm saying. You just have to, knowing how that body of water works with those fish is more important than anything, bro,
Well,
than anything else.
here, like, let me. So like this one body of water, I'm kind of talking. So I've been there multiple years, 2, 3 years. A bass trout lake. I can literally almost not catch bass out of it. I can only catch stalker trout and like
Okay, so let me
so
ask you a
hold
question. What do you normally fish with when you go there?
everything.
What's
Jigs,
everything? What
jigs,
what's everything?
tattletales, rats, crankbaits, swim baits, glide baits. Like it's either I'm doing
Okay, so here's where you may be making a mistake, and
look,
this is just my opinion.
this is the
This is just my opinion.
hold on, this is the so like I've been there for multiple years, barely catch bass there, but like I can go there 7 days a week, hit the bank, hit the dam, no bass, right? So like how many times do you hit bodies of water until like you determine they're not that great kind of thing.
Well, yeah. That you know what that is a better. I guess that's a better.
Like
You know what
that's what I
that
was
that
trying
is
to
a
get
thing.
to. Like
No, yeah, but see, but that's the thing. That's the thing is like if you know. That's why I asked if you know there's fish because if you know there's fish,
yeah,
then it's something that you're doing.
well,
So, and what I mean by and what I mean by
I
that
like
is
it. I like it.
And what I mean by that is as for you up until this point, the fish have figured out how to beat you. Okay, so that's why I asked, like, what all have you tried? Because sometimes, like most of the baits you just named me right now, all kind of require a heavier poundage in line, right? Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, like, what do you normally run as far as poundage on line for those baits that you just named off?
I'm doing
Anywhere from 15 to 20, correct?
yeah, I'm doing.
Yeah, like 20, 25. If you throw on the rat, you might throw some 25 on it.
But here, let me send too because like
But
this
this
might
is
be
what
good.
I'm saying, bro. Is have you tried seriously finessing?
Well, fishermen,
Huh?
fishermen aren't producing that well. The people who are producing are people that are in there in the middle of the night.
Well, yeah. See, that goes back to that night fishing, like I was talking about, man. Certain
I know,
fish
I
on
know,
their nocturne.
but I didn't want to like get into like the breaking down like a regular body of water anytime. So like being in on this body of water at nighttime, kind of. But
You know that the
it's
pond
all
that you're
good.
talking about,
It's
man.
all
I
good,
think I
Kyle.
think if you went,
It's all
I
good,
think
man.
if I think Yeah, I think if you went in there to that pond with like some 6 pound, 8 pound test and go like maybe a drop shot or like a little mini compact jig or even a Ned rig with a crawl or something on it, dude, I bet you you'll get fucking eaten up. And even if hey,
No, I
you
was
can
really
even
trying
go
to I was really trying to get the perspective off of you of how many like when you hit those bodies of water, like bodies of water, you hit them. Well, I didn't catch
well,
nothing.
yeah, no, I mean, I get your question. I
And
get
then
your
you're like,
question, bro.
and then you're like, oh, I'm
I
gonna
get your
go
question.
again. You're like, I'm gonna go again. You don't catch nothing.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, bro. That's why it's kind of hard to answer that question because there has been spots that I would just keep going and I'd be getting skunked. I get skunked. I get skunked, and then I would go and I'd get skunked and I'd be like, you know what? I ain't never going back there again. And then I end up going back and then boom, I have a killer sesh. I have a killer sesh.
I think
It
some.
fishing's funny like that, bro.
So here,
Fishing is funny like
so
that.
here, this is what I'm getting at, right? Is I think some spots are just more mysterious than some. It's smarter, like kind of thing. You know, like some bodies of water, but there's crazy stuff going on, and then some bodies of water, they're just like they're just tough, difficult, fish smart, like you know.
Yeah, hold on, dude. My bad. I was staring at my I'm reading.
Uh, nah, dude,
That's weird.
it's all perfect talk. Really, like
Yeah, no, no, dude. You know what? That's really interesting that you have that pond like that, and that you see it like that. Because to me, what it is just like
well here too.
you
I
get
guarantee
you get.
if you fished it for a week, you'd have the same perspective.
What do
You'd have
you?
like
Oh,
the same perspective on it. Like, dude, it's the weirdest. Like, I'm sure do is try to get some people from low Pacific body. These
yeah, you
headphones,
know, man.
I did one with the headphone, and then now I'm trying to one with these ones. Like, you can hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you, but like you'll talk and then it goes quiet, and then I can hear your voice.
Oh, okay. It's because of the distance.
But yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, dude.
You know, with that kind of body of water, man, all I can probably tell you is like if you know there's fish in there, bro, is just keep grinding, dude. Keep grinding, dude, because you'll find something, dude. I would say
So, like, here's a better question, right? So, like, are you hitting bodies of water not even caught fish at, like, for over?
do I hit bodies of water that I haven't caught fish at?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's like two places I go that I haven't caught fish at, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, dude. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Even though I don't go there as much, I still keep them on the menu because it's still a challenge to me. I'm always thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always like,
That's what I
man,
noticed with people I go fishing with, dude. They're like, we don't catch fish there. I'm like, dude, like, we still gotta go. You know, like, we still gotta learn, like, what's going on because, like you said, we're missing something.
I swear, you know what, bro? I'm telling you, bro. If you can get the pattern, if you can get the seasonal patterns down,
Mhm.
even if you're at a hard body of water, you'll still have better chances of trying to find fish, man. It's like I said, man, you know, that's what I'm saying. A lot of guys just keep going back aimlessly and like, man, not really, you know, and I'm not saying you're going back aimlessly, but there's so many guys out there that I know they'll just go fishing. They don't know why they're going fishing. They just are to have fun. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys are like that, and that's cool.
Mm.
I'm not even against that. Like that's actually some of the best fishing. You go with your homies. You just go because you ain't got nothing to do. Y'all are chilling, throwing some lines.
When I go
Everybody's
with those
kicking it.
guys, I be like catching all of them, and they don't catch nothing.
But see, but see, that's what I'm saying. Have you ever noticed that most of the time you see me fishing, I'm what, bro? I'm always alone, huh?
Well, that was questions too is like fishing alone versus fishing with
Well,
other
see, I
people.
don't fish alone. I don't fish alone just necessarily because like I don't want to be cool with anybody. I fish alone just because like the way I approach the game is similar to some, but it's different from most. You know what I'm saying? So I meet very few people that really come out and pay attention to details like how I do. I get on it, bro. When I'm on the water, bro, everything else in my life just goes, bro. And all I'm thinking about is the fish. You know what I mean?
That's another big thing too, right? Is like be out there casting. I'm just like focused on like casting type stuff, like just keying in on like
Yeah,
casting.
dude, you just gotta be. That's really what it is. You just gotta be able to connect with it, man. Some guys got it, some guys don't, dude.
Or like reeling.
That's the truth, bro. Huh?
I'm just reeling. I'm just like waiting. I'm just like, where's that bite? I'm like thinking. I like be like imagining like my bait, water, stuff.
Yeah. See, that's where it starts. But see, like my brain's kind of like that. But my brain looks at it like I get weird with it, bro. I actually like try to put my brain inside my bait, and I try to be as realistic as I can. Try to make it look underneath the water.
Yeah. Like
You
my
know what I'm
joke
saying?
is
And
like I'm
when
thinking
I'm
about my
thinking
bait
retrieval,
under the
people,
water. Yeah.
yeah, dude, I always have people ask me, "What's the best retrieval?" And I'm like, "There is no best retrieval. You just have to understand." Like, let's say, for example, you got bait fish on the bank, and their bass are chasing them up into the bank, and you're throwing a drop shot. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna throw it out. You're gonna drag it up towards the bank, and you're gonna flutter it, and bass are gonna come up and eat it. And why would they eat it? Because it's sitting there representing the fish that are getting chased up to the bank and getting eaten. Okay, it's just understanding what they're doing at the time. If you can notice that shit, it's so easy to get on light. It's when it's cold or it's when it's fucking nighttime and you can't see the banks and everything's fuck or it's winter time and they're out deep and you can't see anything. That's when it gets tough. But when you know they're active, man, and you can kind of see how they're eating, or you know how they're eating, becomes your best friend. The sun becomes your best friend because the sun's gonna make them sit up underneath places that are deep and hidden. So you just start narrowing shit down, dude. Like when I go to a pond, let's say if I'm in the middle of the day and I want to fish, I'm not gonna go there and just fucking fish every open little spot because more than likely there's not gonna be any bass roaming around open spots. So what it does is it makes it easy for me to go there, find grass, find tulies, find the pitch and bunch, and I fish that way, man. And I get more hookups that way because that's where the fish are at.
So
You know what I'm saying, dude? So
so
like when you understand that shit and the times that those places exist, it's just man, dude, you just start fishing up different.
so yeah, here let's talk about like understanding the sun, shadows, like so how are you using the sun and the shadows to your advantage?
So look, I'll just go right into what I was saying, right into what you were just saying.
Hmm.
When you understand like the sun and the shadows and the weather patterns and this and that, like you have to learn a lot of different rigs, man. So like what I'm saying is like to be a real effective bass fisherman, you have to know more rigs than just a couple of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like what I mean by rigs is like anything that you tie on at the nose is considered the same rig. So whether it's a rat, a crankbait, a spinner bait, anything like that just drags from the tie is pretty much the same thing. So when I say that you need to know multiple rigs, I'm talking shit like ball and chain Carolina rig, drop shot, Texas rig, weightless, fucking I mean you could run
Isn't
double fluke.
well like isn't that like this kind of the same like in my perspective?
No, no, not to me, dude. Because in the way I look at it is, it falls into to me. bass lures fall into two real categories. So like
You
I'm not saying
you
that
run an
most baits.
effort rig. So here
No, no,
here
no, no,
here.
no, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that most of them aren't designed the same way. That's not what I mean. What I mean by that is like, so whether if you were running a rat or whether you're running a paddle tail or whether you're running a spinner bait, when you cast it out there, the main idea of most of those are moving baits. They're action baits. They're hard baits. They're
Mhm.
baits that are designed to retrieve consistently.
Mhm.
Okay, a consistent retrieval lure. Now you can use them slower, you can drag them, you can do other things with them, but the main design for moving baits is for moving baits.
Mhm.
What I mean by like Carolina rig, Texas rig, drop shot, weightless, the reason why I put them into a category together
Well,
is because
okay.
they're designed to run with weight and hook.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is you can just throw that shit out there and leave it.
Okay.
Stick
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You
I
could
get that.
you could dead one of those rigs, but every one of those rigs are rigged up different, and they all also have a different purpose that you can run them like.
I thought you meant how you were tying them because, like, for me, snap and I run every same knot, same
Well, yeah,
snap,
you know, I get you,
kind of
I
way.
get you, I get
But
you. Yeah, like
yeah.
me, I just put everything into like a moving bait or a fucking bait. So like
Yeah,
you
like
could dead
a
sting.
square bill and a worm are totally different things. Like whole.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. To be an effective bass fisherman, you have to know all those little techniques because every one of them have a time and purpose.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And certain times, certain rigs can imitate what they're seeing way better than just throwing it out there and reeling it in. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't know, man. You just got to get into like every detail that you can actually zone into when it comes to fishing. This makes you that much more better of an angler to me. You know what I mean? Like,
So yeah, that's why I like that jig fishing because like you can really figure out what's on the bottom. Like jig, you kind of
yeah, yeah,
you kind of do
yeah,
that slow retrieve, kind of dead stick, pop it, kind of a
yeah,
couple times,
yeah.
or like all kinds of different stuff with the jig. But then too, it's not that like square bill, just I just retrieve it and just wait for a bite kind of thing. Like
Exactly. That's why I've been getting more into finesse fishing because with those types of things, you can actually get down there and actually feel and drag and find shit.
mhm,
You know, and I've never really been like a worm or finesse type fisherman. So the last couple years, I've actually been teaching myself more and more and more and more technique.
mhm,
I practice on it a lot more and more and more. So that's what I'm saying. Like the pond that you're talking about, you might have to go super light line, like 6 to 8 pound, maybe even lighter, and go small baits, dude. Go small baits. And if that don't work,
well, no,
then try something like a
see,
rooster tail.
the only people I see catching bass is either like worm or either bed fishing, like literally like off bed kind of thing, like kind of shouldn't be, but like respectful manner kind of stuff, like and then or it's dudes at nighttime big baiting type stuff, like but
You know what? To be honest with you, bro, I'd be out there with the guys at nighttime with the big baits because that's where it's at.
hmm
That's where it's at. If you really, in all reality, that just might be the way that pond operates, man. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like I know ponds like that, dude, where you can go there during the day, you don't really get much of a bite. As soon as that nightfall starts coming in, bro, shit, it turns
and then
on.
too, it's one of those like trout. It's one of those trout stocking deals, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely have a trout swim bait tied up at all times. At all times, bro. If I was you, I'd have a glide one of your trout colored glide baits tied on at all times, bro. At all times. At all times. Because I can almost guarantee you, if there's some big ones in there, they're only eating trout. That's why you're not getting bit.
So yeah, dude. And then what was it? Here's one I thought of. Something you carry in your bag that like you never use.
What's up?
What's something you carry in your tackle bag that you never really actually use? Like whether it's like a tape measure or it's like
Let's see.
anything,
What's something
anything
in
in
my
your
bag?
bag, anything. Like what's something you always carry but like you never really use it?
Hey, you know what? Believe it or not, my scale. Yeah,
I swear, huh?
I'm not one for being like, oh, 5 pounds. Like, it's a big fish. It's a nice fish. Fuck it. But I do carry a scale. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't ever use it, man. I just never. I don't know.
Or
I've
two,
always
or
been.
like
I've always been. I've always been in. And I've always been more into like the patterns and the colors of the fish. You know what I'm saying? So like catching a big nice one is nice all sometimes, but like when I catch a really dark one with some killer looking patterns, I like that more. I don't know. I just like that more. I like the way the fish is actually looks. It's a beautiful species, dude.
so like
And they have a.
do you kind of pack light on like the fishing gear or like
It just depends where I'm at and how I'm going. It just depends on how long I'm going to be there.
mhm,
It depends on where I'm at. So like if I'm busting a jump the fence ninja mission, I'll just take my small pack, maybe one, maybe two rods. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going out on the boat on the lake for the day, I'll take my backpack and I'll take 3, 4 rods. You know what I'm saying? Just depends. Just depends on what I'm doing. There's times where I'm like, hey, I might roll by a pond at work. I'll just take one rod, couple little baits. You know what I'm saying? Just try it out because I'm not even going to be there that long. So
mhm.
it just depends. Yeah, it just depends on what I'm doing.
Or like I used to carry around like in my car, I used to carry around like a fucking chair, shit or whatever.
Hey, yeah, dude, for sure. I know. I have a chair in my back of my van too, dude. A little stool you just flop out. It's just like a little sit stool. It ain't nothing crazy, but